Hello there! There's a pretty big trend right now into using recycled cardboard in craft projects. And I think it was inspired by Carmen of Carmen's Curiosity Shop, so check out her YouTube channel for some more amazing ideas. With a bigger project in mind, I decided to do a little experimenting of my own. So today we're going to be creating a house out of cardboard. I'm starting with these big sheets of cardboard. They're nothing special, they're just packing materials I've kept from shipments to the store. I wasn't sure the best way to go about peeling this top layer off in chunks to reveal the corrugated beneath. My X-Acto knife is super dull. At this point I'm thinking, this is going to take forever, so I'm not sure this particular cardboard is going to work. So then I decide to just pull in the X-Acto knife's blade and just score the paper with the end. This works much better. This process does take some time, and it does get a little bit hard on the fingers after a while. So I think depending on the cardboard that you're using, some are going to be easier, some are going to be harder. So just find what works for you, but take some time, pour yourself a cup of coffee, and try to enjoy the process. I continue scoring and peeling and scoring and peeling until I get the whole sheet done. I do a second sheet because I've got a little experiment in mind. Because cardboard's pretty absorbent, I want to prime it first. So I'm going to do one sheet with clear gesso and the other sheet will be done with DIY Paint's clear patina. This will stop the paint from just getting sucked up by the cardboard. It gives you a good base. I'm just going to label the sheets so I remember which one's which. You can see I tried peeling the paper off the other side of that cardboard thinking it would be easier. It wasn't. So this step is pretty simple. I'm just going to brush on the clear gesso, trying to get a pretty good full coverage, but I'm not super picky about getting it into all those little nooks and crannies in the cardboard, but getting a decent coverage. I should mention that I'm using clear gesso, but you can use white gesso, or I think there's even a black gesso. It doesn't matter. I tend to gravitate towards the clear products just because then whatever I'm using as a substrate, I can also use that in my finished product, that color. So use whichever one you can get or whichever one you prefer. And for this sheet, I'm going to use the Clear Patina by DIY Paint as a base. So it's kind of hard to see in this video, but the sheet that I painted, or primed rather, with the clear patina is a little bit more curved. And the gesso one is a little flatter. So I prefer the gesso over the clear patina as a primer, because once dry, the sheet that is more curled was harder to work with. I also found the gesso took the paint a little bit better. So in my little experiment, I'm going to go with gesso as a primer for this cardboard. I'm now giving it a base coat of DIY Paint's Skeleton Key. DIY Paint is pretty thick, so I'm struggling a little bit getting it to flow and move over the cardboard, so I add a little bit of water and this works much better. Again, I am not super concerned about getting it exactly into every little nook and cranny on here, because I do want this to look kind of rustic and weathered, and that's my plan. And here's the same paint mixture that I'm using on the board I primed with gesso. I didn't have a pattern to go by, so I just knew I wanted to make basically a square box of a house. So I just kind of came up with some numbers, and I'm just going to cut it out of the cardboard just using the X-Acto knife and a ruler. I think once I come up with a design that I really like, I would make a pattern about that one. But this is just an experiment. It's the first one I've ever done, so I'm just winging it. So here I'm just kind of eyeballing it, dry fitting it, trying to get some measurements for my little roof. I would do the roof different. I would make eaves on it. I did not do that, meaning off the front and the back on the gable ends. But otherwise, I think it worked out pretty good. After all, that's what experiments are for, right? I apologize for my camera angle. I've kind of cut part of it off. You never know until it's too late that your camera wasn't set up properly. Here I'm making a glaze using DIY Paint's clear patina and a little bit of white swan paint. Mix the two together really well, and then I'm just going to brush it over the base coat and kind of wipe it back to get that look that those zinc or those little tin houses have that you can buy. I was all ready to go here, and then I thought maybe I should try this on a little practice piece first. So that's what I'm doing here. So the gist of this process is to brush on the custom glaze that I made using the patina and the paint, and then just wipe it back until you get the look that you want. I'm just using these Costco brand baby wipes to do this, but you can use a wet paper towel or a cloth or anything else that you have handy. I'm pretty happy with how this sample turned out, so let's go on to the main project. I'm working fairly quickly on one piece at a time because the patina doesn't have a very long open time, so to be able to wipe it back, I need to move fast. Quick go over with the heat tool and they'll be ready to glue together. I'm just using a glue gun with hot glue. Again, my camera angle kind of screwed this up so you don't see the actual glue gun happening, but that's what I'm using, nothing fancy. Okay, it's all glued together, but now I'm going to cut out little windows and a door out of scrap pieces of my cardboard. I'm going to give these a coat of white paint, and then they're going to be ready to glue on. Again, I'm just using hot glue here to attach these now. Nothing fancy, just your regular Walmart glue gun and hot glue. I went around the edges of the cardboard with the hot glue, just putting a bead of glue along those free edges of the cardboard, just so that it doesn't have that corrugated look on the edges. And now I'm just creating a raised window pane effect, also using hot glue. Once I touch this all up with paint, you won't even know that that's hot glue, and it'll give it a really nice 3D effect. Here I'm touching up all of those little windows and the seams of the cardboard and the edges with some white paint. This kind of disguises that cardboard edge look and getting rid of some little hot glue fuzz, or strings rather. And with a baby wipe, I just go clean that up so there's no distinct brush marks or anything like that, kind of soften those edges. I've decided to add a little more color definition to the window panes. And I don't know, originally I was going to go a little bit darker, and then I changed my mind. So it's just a mix of black and skeleton key and white. So it's just a little bit darker, and it just defines those windows and the little door. And there it is. You can make one, or you can make a whole little village, and you only need a few ingredients to create these cute little houses. I'll put the list of all the products used in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope this inspired you to create your own little house.